Hello and welcome. My name is Marta, and today I have a fun Christmas project for us. I am taking this balloon and I'm going to do the classic paper macheing a balloon using this packaging paper that I tore up and my paper mache paste, which is 1 cup flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1.5 cups of water. You mix it up nicely. And you want it like a runny pancake mix consistency. And here I am going to dip these little pieces of paper in and overlap them. So I dip them, squeeze out the excess, and overlap. And I just proceed doing this throughout the whole balloon. And I did 2 layers. You have to let it dry between layers, but I did 2 good layers. But in reality, if I had done 3 layers, it would have been better because it would have just been more solid, like a stronger shell, so to speak. So yeah, I definitely recommend at least 3 layers. And if you want to do 4 or more, by all means, go ahead. I wish I had done it, but I have like time constraints because of video editing and whatnot for the week. And I was concerned that I was pushing it too close, so I decided just to do 2, and it was okay. It worked out okay, but like I said, the stronger the better. And this is how it looks like, all dried up, and it's a little gritty. So I'm just taking a little hand sander here, like a little sponge sander, and I'm just sanding it down to make it a little more smooth for the painting. And this is what you're left with. Now here I am taking a pin and poking the balloon to take it out. And I wish I would have left it because what happens when you paint is that it kind of reactivates everything and wets the whole paper mache, and you'll see it kind of crushes in at some areas. I do take like the back of a paintbrush and push it back out. But what I ended up having to do was taking another balloon and actually fishing it in there and blowing it up so it could just fortify the cavity in there. And I just kept that balloon up for the rest of the painting odyssey until the paint dried, and then there was no problem popping the balloon and taking it out. It wasn't like caving in at any areas. So yes, just keep your balloon there the whole time until you're done painting. And this is why these tutorials are good, because I make the mistakes and I tell you about them, and you don't have to deal with it when you do it. You can remember my mistakes and do the right thing from the get-go. All right, so you saw me like freehand some lines there, and I am taking my favorite green lately. It's like this minty green. I just can't get enough of it. And it is clover green. Hold on, let me see. I have it in front of me. Green clover, not clover green. So I mix white with that green clover to make this minty color. And it's acrylic matte finished paint from Apple Barrel. So here I'm just painting it within the lines that I drew out and skipping every other section there. I just alternate it. I'm going to do another color in between there. I'm using a nice square tip paintbrush, and the square tip paintbrushes are perfect for when you're doing straight lines. Those are like the best to do straight lines with. And here you see some areas are a little blotchy where I remixed some paint and it's not like exact, but I'm going to be doing more stuff with this, so you won't really notice it much. All right, so I'm taking this other beautiful color called Lilac Mist, and another favorite color of mine, this lilac color, any kind of purple really, I love. So I was gonna do a red, but I don't know, in the end I just really like this color combo of the mint and the lavender, and not everything Christmassy has to be green and red. You can obviously incorporate any other color you want. So for me, this time around, I wanted to do this lilac color. I did play around with like a reddish pink, and I didn't like it. I much rather have used what I used in the end was the lilac. So, but yeah, by all means, you can do any color you want. You could do it black and white. I actually played around with that idea to do it black and white, but in the end, this is what I ended up with. So. And here you're going to see where the balloon caved in a little bit. I'm taking a brush and popping it back out. And that's when I decided to, you can see that there's a balloon in there now. So I had stopped the camera and I added the balloon back in because it definitely needed it. So I'm free line drawing more sections here. I wanted to incorporate some white, and I just felt it looked a little too beach ball-y, like these big sections. So I broke them down and did this. And I'm pretty good. I'm a pretty steady hand. I mean, I have a pretty steady hand. If you don't, you could probably use a ruler or like a string to kind of guide you. But yeah, I just found it to be easy to draw, like freestyle. And here's the white. It's just plain white that I'm using. And I did have to do like maybe 2 coats on each section here, mainly because I didn't want like the green hues to pop through there. I am noticing that the camera keeps flashing from brighter to dimmer, and I believe that is because my brush handle is very long. It's like extra, I don't know if it's very long, but I had the camera up close, and I think it was just activating the autofocus. So hopefully that won't be happening throughout the whole video. Fingers crossed. Once I finish painting these white sections, I am taking this metallic gold paint. It's by Folk Art, Metallic Pure Gold. That's the color, and it's a lovely gold color. And I just painstakingly go over every section, between every section, every color here, and just with a smaller paintbrush, paint hopefully even line. It wasn't always perfectly even, but I got it as close as I could. So I just go up and down every single section, which there was quite a few. And I did paint like a little circle on the very top. You don't really see it in the end, but that's what I did. So if you can't tell what this is going to be already, it is going to be a hot air balloon. And I'll show you later on like what the cute stuff I have for it. I did have to go over this gold twice over. I had to do 2 coats each line, and it was well worth it, but just the one coat wasn't brilliant enough, and you can sometimes see white or green or the lavender color poking through. So to make it more brilliant gold, definitely 2 coats over. All right, and here are the end results of my balloon. And now I am taking this cotton twine, and I'm taking 12 sections of strings, so 12 strings altogether, and they are about a yard length each of them. And I did them a yard and I had already done them, so I just went with it and I corrected it later. I had to add more string to this thing that I'm doing here. But if you want to do it the right way, I would do about a yard and a half at least each string. So I am taking one string and using it, like doubling it over, and then I'm just looping each string over, and there's about 11 sections at this point, plus that one string, which is the initial top loop, and it does become its own string as well, its own set of 2 strings. I'm doing like a basic macrame here, and you can sort of see I loop them over and just I'm getting them all even there, like spacing them all evenly. And it's just, you take a loop and you put the ends, the 2 ends in through the top loop, and then that's what basically ties it up. You pull it tight and it makes those little kind of semi knots up there. You can loosen the tops of these to move them around. You have to kind of have them a little closer together because this is going to be the top part of the balloon and it's not going to be too wide. So this last loop that all the other little strings are attached to, what I do is slide all the little strings towards the end, towards the loop end of this string, and then I go ahead and put those 2 ends through that loop and tighten it up. And that's how I do that. It doesn't have a knot kind of like the other ones, but it still works just fine. So here you can just separate them out, make them even around, and then you can start making your little knots, your little macrame netting. And each little couple here, each little double string, what you do is you split them apart and you take the neighboring string and you tie those together. So it starts looking like a little starburst. And this is just a basic knot. There's other fancier ways of knotting these if you really get into macrame, but I figured for this little project, the classic knots worked just fine. Why make everything more complicated if it's not necessary? Also, as you make your way around, just be mindful of getting those knots to be at the same level. So if it's like 1.5 inches down the knot, you want to make the next knot 1.5 inches down. And then you just keep going and doing this, repeating this process over and over again, and you start having this net looking thing. So it's the same thing. You split the two pairing strings and you pair them with their neighbor and knot them and go around and around and do that. And then as you get towards the end here, towards the bottom, and you could be doing, if these were long enough, I could have done it all the way almost toward like 2/3 of the balloon, but I just didn't calculate enough string. So it wasn't long enough, because as you go and keep knotting, the strings get shorter and shorter. So when I finally got to the point where I figured I need to start making these I am not explaining myself very well. When you are finished doing the double knots, as I'm doing right now, it looks like I did about 4 sections. Now you can do 5, 6, 7, however long you make these strings. When you are satisfied, you don't want to be attaching this to its basket or whatever you're going to use for the hot air balloon carrying part. You don't want like 11 or 12 strings to attach this to. So what I was doing was the same thing, the same protocol as before, except I'm taking, or really leaving, the double strings and taking the neighboring double strings and tying those basically like a big large knot of 4 strings. Now in the back here, since I had an odd number, I didn't have an even number. Another thing you want to maybe take into account, I think I had 11 strings. It would have been better 10 or 12. So I should have added another section to this, another string section, or taken one out. Anyway, in the back, I kind of had to do, instead of 2 and 2 and knot those together, I had to split one up and do like 3s. So there's 2 sections that only have 3 little strings together. So I took the odd one out and I split that, like I put 2 strings to the neighboring other 2 strings, and then one I put the single string and I paired it with the other neighboring 2 strings. So there's one little section here that has 3 strings, which is fine. You can't really tell. What I ended up doing was putting that part of the netting towards the back of the little balloon carrier part, and I have 5 of these strings that go down, and these strings are still not long enough. Like these that I'm trimming down, I still had to take another pieces of, like I had to take another long strand and cut it down, and you'll see I had to add more string from the little basket air thing to kind of loop over to those so they can meet in the middle there. It sounds complicated, but when you visually see it, you'll understand. I feel like I'm not explaining myself very well here. All right, so I wanted to add a little more to this balloon, and I am just freehand drawing these loops here, and I'm going to paint them gold just to add a little something extra to the balloon. I'm using the same gold paint and just making these banner type loops here, or I don't know what to call them really, but yes, this is what I'm doing. Okay, so as much as I liked the white netting, I wanted it to be a little more going into the red. So I'm taking this red paint, it's called Red Apple, and just watering it down, and I'm just soaking the netting and any other string that I use, and just let it dry. It dries fairly fast, and I thought that looked a little nicer. I always liked the combination of purple and red, so that's what I went with. Now, I found this amazing little teacup. I think it was on eBay. There's a lot of them you could find, but they tend to be bigger for like plants. And this is for a plant, but it's for a smaller plant. So anyway, I thought it was darling, and I thought it would make a cute little hot air balloon basket. Now, so in a hot air balloon, towards the end of the balloon, there's this pipe kind of that goes down from the tip of the balloon, and I guess that's where the gas goes in. So anyway, I'm taking the end of a shipping roll, and I'm just cutting it down to size. Now, you could attach this while you're paper macheing. I didn't. I'm just gonna go the easy route and hot gluing it there, and I'm kind of flattening out the hot glue a little bit so it's not too obvious. I make it a little thicker in the inside, and I'm taking that same gold paint and just giving it a couple of good coats there. So I think in the end it was about 1.5 inches wide, this little shipping tube, like for like a poster. You could probably use anything. You could make the circle, but I just figured it was a little easier to use that shipping tube. Here's a better shot of that cute little teacup wicker basket thing. And I got these really cute felt mouse ornaments on Amazon. They came 4 in a pack, and they have like little traveling suitcases with them. I picked these because I really like the colors of the coats, and I am just gonna, these are hot glued on the suitcases, so they're fairly easy to take off. So I picked these 2 guys, and there I'm just cutting off any excess hot glue there. It's pretty easy to take off the felt. And I'm just arranging these little guys how I want. I do have to bend the legs, but you don't really see it. But I do bend the legs down so that they're a little shorter in there. And now I'm just kind of figuring out the height of the balloon, like how high I want it, where the head meets that cylinder, where the head of the mice meet that cylinder. I want there to be some sort of clearance there. So I'm adding this extra string. I'm just fishing it through between those loops there that are knotted. In the end, what I do is, once I figure out the length and everything that I want, I do untie those knots and fish the line through properly and incorporate that line into the knots so it's a little more clean looking. And then I just fish them through those little loops towards the end of that teacup and make like a simple knot towards the bottom there. And this is just kind of like touch and go, like you have to fuss with this a bit to get the right length, like each of them the right length. So, but it wasn't too bad to do. I'm just using like a little tiny, I think that was a little tiny screwdriver just to help me push the strings sometimes, because when there's like 4 of them or 3 of them, it's like a little hard to get through that tiny little loop. So for knotting. So anyway, that's what I was using. And if I had made the netting strings longer, I wouldn't have had to do these extra steps here. I could have just attached them directly to the teacup. But here's a kind of like how it's going to look. I got the lengths how I want, but then I'm going to clean up the knots. All right, I want to make a little banner for these little mice, and I'm just drawing like a simple little wavy, chunky banner kind of thing. I have this glitter glue, like gold glitter glue, and I'm just gonna fold this up and cut a little dovetail there. And I have a metallic Sharpie, like a red metallic Sharpie, and I'm just gonna put Merry Christmas on there. Very simple, very handmade. And now I am just going to go over the edges here with that glitter glue. And once the glue is dried there, I'm taking these skewers and just rolling it up there. I'm going to hot glue it onto that skewer to use for a stick. I'm going to cut the stick down. You can get these skewers anywhere, like in a grocery store for like barbecues. Yeah, I'm just cutting it down there with like a little miter tool I have there. Here you see me hot gluing the netting to the balloon, but I ended up doing something different. I unstuck that hot glue and I lost the footage. I totally apologize, but I took like a bare floral wire. I think it was actually an ornament wire. And I poked 2 holes to that very top there, and I kind of made a U of the wire and poked it through into one of the holes and then poked it up and out through the other, so it was just, it could actually hold the balloon up. And I just twisted it up, and then I can hang it off of a string from the ceiling. And now I'm taking these cute little plastic ornaments that I got at the Dollar Tree. They're like extra small. And I'm using ornament hooks to hang them off the sides there to mimic the weights that you see on hot air balloons. So I've thrifted this confetti for $1, and it has these like gold stars that I really liked. And I'm just gonna put some, I'm gonna attach them with some hot glue to the tops of those little banner-like things that I painted there. And as I get ready to wrap this up and show you guys the reveal, I wanted to thank all of you that are commenting and liking and subscribing. Thank you guys so much for all your wonderful support. I appreciate you guys so much, and I hope that you guys are going to have an amazing holiday. Merry Christmas, a happy holidays, and a happy New Year. I probably won't be back till after the New Year. I have some family visiting, and I will be more than busy, but in a good way. So I'll be back next year, and lots of love to everyone. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And now it's time for the reveal.